The Nun 2 is out right now, guys, and here's my quick review on it. I saw it in theaters, and it's a movie that does have some problems. Is it enjoyable? If you like The Nun, and you like that lore with Valak, I think you will find things in here that you like. It does have its problems, though, so we'll talk about this in this review. The Nun 2. Did I like it? I like stuff about the lore, and Tessa Farmiga there, she's back as Sister Irene, and she's the main draw for me. The nun stuff in the background is kind of, yeah, I like that stuff because I'm a horror fan, but surprisingly, I'm on board with this Sister Irene character because she's kind of like psychic, like got medium abilities, right? She can commune or like she senses the spirit, so I like all that angle. 1956 France, a priest is murdered and evil is spreading. The sequel to the worldwide smash hit follows Sister Irene as she once again comes face to face with Valak, the demon nun. Yes. Now, Jonas Bloquet is back in this as Maurice Frenchie, and I was pleasantly surprised by that when I saw this in the theater. I just recently rewatched The Nun, and my reaction to that will be up on the channel soon, hopefully by the end of the weekend, because we watched that over on our Twitch channel that you can follow at Mirror Domains. We watched that movie fully over there. I do that stuff here on that channel, guys. Hey, if you like movies, come join us here because you will be able to interact with us for sure and have your say about what you think about these movies. So, getting back into The Nun. Because I just watched the first Nun movie, I was well versed with the characters and stuff like that. I knew who Sister Irene was, and it was curious to see how they were going to tie it all in. And for the most part, they do a really good job of picking up at a very logical place. Now, do you need to see the first Nun movie to understand what's going on in this one? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. The acting. So, yeah, from all these girls and stuff like that, because it happens like at a school, it's good. Like, that's something I said in my initial reaction, but it's shot dark. So when it comes for me to rank the cinematography on this, even in the theater, when it's like all dark around you, there's going to be certain shots that are going to be hard to see because see, like this was all dark, and it's just not in scenes like this. It's like when they're walking around hallways and stuff, the director chose to do silhouette lighting, right? So it's like you can light something like this properly when they're standing in a room, but I think he was trying to use natural lighting and to help sell the ambiance and the mood, which it's kind of like, well, I just paid $10 to go see this movie. I'd like to see their faces, not just the silhouette of them. So I'm definitely going to dock it when it comes time for that, when I'm doing my review. So acting, Tessa is pretty good in this, and Storm Reed had a much bigger role in it than I thought. Now, the directing could be that lighting stuff. Pacing-wise, it does go through a few lulls. Directing was serviceable for the most part. And cinematography. Let's talk about, I'm going to rank cinematography right now. It was serviceable, but I can't give it quite a 0. Cinematography and story are out of a possible 1 point each. So I'll give that a 0.5. We'll come back to this this ranking here in just a minute when I finish articulating my thoughts on just the presentation of this film. Yeah, Storm Reed I thought was only going to be like a small cameo in this. She has a much larger role in this. And as you can see here, the grain here, this is because they upped the gain on the photo quality of this afterwards. Like, this is normally much darker, and you can see like they did that here because of when you adjust pictures like in Photoshop or something, and you adjust the grain too high, you get that gritty look. Now, it doesn't look gritty like that in the theater because you are watching it at its correct color correction, right? But for the most part, yeah, it's dark. And just watching the first one, I can say that one was also dark, like lit dark. So it must have been the style. That's why I say style. I liked all the stuff with Valak showing up in pictures and stuff like that. All of that was creepy, but at certain times that felt a little bit too shoehorned in. You'll know what I mean when I see it. Was it a complete awful experience in the theater? No, it wasn't. Because I do like this lore, the NUN character, and Tessa Farmiga there. She delivered. So what are people saying about this? Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people have said. 51% by the critics. That's not awful. Like the first NUN is like, what, 22 or 23% or something? Audience hasn't seen this yet. I don't know how it's going to rank at the box office. It is horror. It's not really all that scary. It's got jump scares. If the visage of Valak and the NUN creep you out, then of course this will give you chills. And there's also another monster that shows up in this too that may get some people, because it was creepy and we didn't see it that much. So I kind of sort of spoilery told you something there, but I'm trying to sell you on all the good things in here so that you don't say, if you are curious and you are going to go to it, you are going to get value out of this, right? That's what I'm trying to convey here. So some snapshot reviews here. Snapshot. Somebody who liked it from the Hollywood Reporter. One could argue that there's way too much screaming going on. I mean, after you've seen the demon 4 or 5 times, is it really that shocking? Yeah, but that's a minor complaint. Yeah, once again, as I said, some people are really creeped out with the Valak imagery, and it is creepy for sure. And they did satisfy one of my needs that I had from the first film. What does Valak want? What's the end game there, right? We know that James Wan, who created it, wants to eventually have it tied back into the Conjuring mythos. But since we're so far back in time, like the 1950s, it's going to be curious to see how that all fits in. It is. And we know, regardless of how well this one does at the box office, there's going to be a NUN 3. There is. Or they're going to tie it up in a Conjuring movie of some kind. New York Times didn't like it. Scene after scene builds fear and tension, and then a monster appears, and then not much else in most cases. Ooh, William Bibiani. Its many inane moments sound entertaining when you list them all on page, but they're so spread out through this movie that the entertainment is usually quite scarce. Now, maybe I went into this with a little bit more of an appreciation just having watching the first NUN, so I know who Frenchie was. They reintroduced the character. They give you a little bit more backstory as to where and what he's doing in this movie and why he's in this movie. So I found all of that more intriguing on my side. Somebody said in my initial reaction comment section that the first one wasn't that scary. It's really not. Yeah, she kills people, but it's kind of like, it is what it is. So let's get into trying to solidify this score here. I'm not quite as low as a 5 out of 10 for the NUN. Well, let's finish up this ranking here, and see where it falls. Story-wise, I found like every story has an interesting premise, at least. Was it super, like, you got to check it out, the story is this invigorating? No. It'll come and go, and my initial reaction, I said you can wait for streaming services. This is not a must-see in theaters, other than Tessa Farmiga and her performance. I want to see more of her, for sure. Valak, I think, is going to be... Just have more stories with the Sister Irene character, not going up against the NUN. I'll see more of that. Kind of like what they're doing with the Pope's Exorcist character. I'd see more of that. The score was serviceable, but was it good enough to buy? I don't know. As I said, cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each. Watchability factor. As I said, it's not terrible. It's not awful. Um, so that I recommend that you at least watch it once. That's 5.5 right there. Would I watch it again? I'm not itching to. So maybe I'm around that 5-point score. None 2. Could I be any more lenient towards anything? Like, could I be any more generous, James? Would I watch it the second time? I wouldn't be adverse to. I can't. It's a watch once kind of thing. And I think that's where I got to leave it, guys. I'm thinking, could I give a little bit more to the directing? Could I give a little bit more to the story? And I would be grasping at straws and trying to justify those straws to you guys, where it would become a little nonsensical. So 5.5 out of 10 for Nun 2 is the best that I can do. Yeah, not Vera Farmiga, Tessa Farmiga. Go check it out for her. That's the main selling point for the Nun 2. All right, guys, did you go out and see this movie? Are you going to? Let me know if you did, and let's talk about it in the comments below. And as I said, we do watch movies over on the Twitch channel, guys, at Mirror Domains. We do movie news at least 3 times a week at 10:30 a.m. here on the channel Mirror Domains. There are my other social media handles. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. We do live shows, so we do live chats. Hourglass Vikings in live chats. So basically, the Nun 2, I would see more in a podcast. Or you could watch it with us on streaming service someday when we watch it on Twitch. There you go. Guys, that's it. If you liked what you've seen, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. All right, so that will be cut out later and put up on the channel. I think that worked okay. I want to be able to bounce back and forth between the score sheet and the IMDb pages, which is hard for me because I only have 2 monitors. I would have to put a 3rd monitor to try to coordinate it all and have it a little bit more seamless. I hope that seemed a little bit more seamless for you guys. Jawan is another big one. I'm just going to refresh this to see if it's changed. No, it hasn't. I know that Jeremy Johns just posted his review. I haven't watched it yet. Or was it Chris Stuckman? He posted his. I know Perry Nemiroff posted hers. I wonder if she's put hers up on Rotten Tomatoes yet. Because she's a genre fan and she respects horror. I haven't watched her review yet, so if she's up here, I do want to read what she said. We'll just give it a quick glance. If I don't see it, then I don't see it. Maybe it's just not posted yet. Matt Donato, her partner in crime for her YouTube channel. It's a sequel that copies previous Conjureverse entries, lacks discipline, and overstays its welcome like a rough draft of something tighter, trimmed, and better focused. So Matt Donato didn't like it. If he's up there, Perry's there. She liked it. Okay, good. I always trust hers. She gave it a 4 out of 5. She gave it an 8 out of 10. Really, Perry. A rock-solid new addition to the Conjuring universe, one that embraces the existing series style, then pushes it further via hugely creative scare scenes and some exciting new additions to the franchise lore. So she's sort of echoing some of the sentiments and things that I pointed out. So yeah, good for her. Good. I always trust her. The transition to score sheet worked for me. Chris and Jeremy have both posted their reviews. Okay, good. Yeah. All right, guys, let's get back into the movie news.